just take us to how it is that your case, how you got in the middle of all of this and got a life sentence.
As I said, I wanted to protect my community. I wanted to uphold my community. I wanted to do right. I wanted to do what I thought was the best things to do for my community. And then drugs happened. Heroin specifically happened. And the offshoot of that is money. I saw a young guy, 16 years old, my age, or 17 or what have you, that a week before that we were both in the movement. And now he's driving around in a Cadillac with diamond rings on and clothes that and I'm saying, what is this? How did this happen? Where is this coming from? And I became interested in that. I became distracted. Now I wanted some of that. And how do you get that? You sell drugs. Of course, your involvement with drugs quite often would lead you to use drugs, because I'm saying, why do people even use this stuff? Again, decisions. I'm looking at people that said, man, this is the best thing that you could do. And they're, So I tried using drugs. I tried heroin. Another one of the worst mistakes or worst decisions that I could make in my life, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what that meant, just to use drugs. It's like taking a drink. You don't know what that can lead to. And it led to a life of robbery, thievery, of assault. It led to the point where I put a gun on my hip. And the mere fact that you have proximity to a gun means something's going to happen eventually. And I wound up being involved in a situation where someone lost their life. It makes no difference whether or not it was intentional or not, because it was not intentional. It was not intentional. As I said, years and years and years before that, when they said I was a bad boy, I knew I was not. I knew it then, and I knew it when this incident happened. But someone lost their life. Something that I regret to today, and something that has shaped and formed the way I live my life today. Because I will atone for that until the day I die. But I wound up in prison at 22 years of age with a life sentence in Pennsylvania, where life is life. And it was a different kind of advice. It's a different kind of reality for me. It reached a point where I stopped and I said, Lord, what is happening? What has happened? And my mind shot 3 or 4 years before that, where I was sitting in front of the television set with a bowl of cereal watching cartoons. And I said, that's me. That's me there. Not here. But this was real. And I had to deal with it. Some kind of way I had to deal with this, and by the grace of God, I was able to do that, because life gives you those kinds of chances. Life gives you those opportunities. Life places people in your life that are blessings. And life did that to me. Put people in my life that saw that there was something else in me, something that could be redeemed. There was value in who I was as a human being, not a devalued life based on the worst mistake I had made in my life.
When you tell the story up to this point, as you hear yourself and you hear us listening, what's that like for you after all these years of holding that day after day?
Holding? Who? I don't hold. No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I have to stop you on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm doing right now at this moment, I have done for 52 years. I was serving a life sentence, and life in Pennsylvania is life until you die, but I wasn't going to die in there. I was confident that I was not, because I didn't deserve that. And I knew who I was as an individual, as a person. I was growing and learning every day, of course. By the grace of some universities and institutions in that particular area, we were able to get them in there. Do you mind if I jump to this?
I want you to tell that.
Okay.
Can you just finish one other thought?
Yes, ma'am.
When you said, I didn't deserve that, I just wanted you to say, what is it in you that said, I don't deserve this? I can imagine someone saying something else.
Well, as I said a little while ago, I knew who I was. And I predicate everything on the fact that I acted as a bad boy. I chose to adopt that role. But I knew it was an act. I knew it was an act. I was not a bad person. I did not want to hurt anyone intentionally. I cared about people. I felt compassionate. I loved to love as opposed to hate. I wanted to do better and to be better. So when I realized that I was sitting in the penitentiary with a life sentence, I says, I am not going to die here because I deserve better. And why did I deserve better? Because who they say I am not.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
powerful to hear it from you because, and we were talking earlier about the difference between being 20, because we were talking to some folks in the back, and then when you have more years, you can see some things.
Oh.
And I think it's so easy to just see only one layer of something. And you're saying, I acted like a bad boy because people told me
yeah.
I was a bad boy, but I knew I wasn't a bad boy, and I don't deserve to be treated like one. So there's so many layers to that I think really are
Indeed.
valuable to hear what a multiplicity we all are, how much is inside of us, and how
Yes.
seeing each of anybody in a one-dimensional way is never the truth about them.
That's true, and I see the same thing happening to. I mean, that's a product of human growth and development. The fact that I was talking to some people the other night. Well, first and foremost, I live here in State College. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, God. Thank you, the powers that be, the borough. And I live in a senior complex. I live amongst 18 to 20 other old timers some who have been there for 30 years, and they really didn't even know each other. And I moved there. I have a different kind of flavor. And I have a different slant on what life is. Probably, one reason why is because I've been away from quote unquote life for so long that I recognize what this is, where you guys exist. This is a phenomenal place. And what is this place? Life, existence. Wherever you're at, what town, what city, what community, just being able to take advantage of the blessings in your life is and should be a joy. I live with these old timers who very seldom, how many times did they say they had gotten together to have a party before my birthday party? Never.
0.
And some had been there 30 years. And we had a birthday party thrown by Laurie and Sam on my 75th birthday, which is August the 8th. So next August the 8th, I want somebody to remember this. And we threw a birthday party and invited all of the neighbors. The majority of them came. And some of them met each other for the first time. But we had a ball. There's a young fella who I met the first day I moved in my apartment, which was June the 4th last year, 2021. His name is Owen Perry. I talked to him about the prospects of he and his friends, his church members and other people, adopting some of the elders in our community, in our little village, in our little living space.
Fraternity, sorority is how I think of it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a wild crew, y'all. You'll have to check them out sometime.
That's right. And I had a conversation at the Hub Paul Robeson Center Monday, I believe it was, with a group called Blueprint. Is anyone familiar with Blueprint? Okay, we have some people that are, and you should have been there. But are you graduating this year? Well, whoever is not graduating, think about Blueprint. Think about organizations and groups like that you can become a part of.
Ooh, and we're going to tell you about a couple.
And we're going to talk about another group. This is a nice segue into that.
I have a question, Irv.
Yes,
So, what was the most pivotal moment in prison in those 52 years? What was the most pivotal moment, if you could identify a pivotal one that got you right here?
Oh,
Because I also want to say one thing, that everybody I've ever met who's connected to Rockview or connected to the correction system, right up to the lieutenant governor, has said that, okay, this guy, he needs to be out. He needs to be out doing the work like you're doing today.
The lieutenant governor at the Board of Pardons hearing where they looked at Irvin's case, that I was there for that. I had the opportunity. The lieutenant governor said that Irvin was the most exceptional and deserving candidate of commutation that he'd ever seen. So just to say his words.
So if you can answer this in 1 minute, because we have a question for
Yes.
you. That'll be the last question. What was the most...
what was the most pivotal moment? The most pivotal moment of the 52 years that I served in the penitentiary was the moment that my father and myself, we told each other that we loved each other. And I had never, not once, heard my father say that to me ever before then. And it was normal. From the brothers I talked to, your father ever tell you that? No, not really. He talks around that. He said, yeah, I'll get on that. You know I do, boy. Or something like that. Because men in this country have a tendency not to express their emotions. And my father was no different. But the moment that he told, well, of course, I pulled it out of him. I said, Dad, you know I love you, right? And I had never said it to him. He said, he just stopped. He said, what? I said, you know I love you. I was grown then. I had been in the penitentiary 20 years. But we had suddenly began talking to one another as individuals, as men, as man and son. And I said, you know I love you. He says, yeah, I love you too, boy. Now, and at this time, I'm 42 years old. I love you too, boy. I said, okay, Dad. And one of the most pivotal moments in my life. And that's when I knew that I could accomplish anything.